Hello, everyone. How are you doing? This is Daryl Guberman, CEO of Guberman PMC LLC, quality consulting firm here in Connecticut. The rest of the data will be found down below this video. This video today is very important. I hit upon it in a couple other videos, but I'm just mainlining it here, streamlining it, so that this way you can get a little bit better picture of the situation. This video is about in 2013 collaboration of Lockheed and Bell for V280 Valor may have caused cybersecurity issues, losing a technology of the Valor. Furthermore, when they sighted and got a hold of Sikorsky aircraft and purchased Sikorsky in 2015, 2 years later, there's also, again, Lockheed Martin has seen issues of cybersecurity intrusion. I'm going to get to this very quickly and try to break it down for you in a understandable manner. Maybe you don't give a damn. Well, that's for you to decide. Turn the video off now. But for those of you who are interested, which are many because we've already hit almost 2,000 views on several of our videos concerning Lockheed, Sikorsky, Boeing, their submission of the Defiant SB1, and them being spoiled sports, wanting to take Bell to task, Bell as like David against the Goliath of Lockheed Martin. There are issues, managerial issues that exist between both organizations. You have a Mitch Schneider, who is the CEO of Bell, who's a former employee of Lockheed, which is kind of a little bit, how should we say? I'm not going to say anything. It's just problematic in a situation where you have Mitch Schneider. It is problematic and also beneficial because he knows the operations of Lockheed. So that at one point is very fortunate for a Bell helicopter. They had an article about who would you invest in, Lockheed or Boeing. My personal preference, I would have gone with Bell. Bell is going to be the underdog, I hope, from what I've predicted, though, a prognosticator that I may be for this issue, because Bell did not win, and I repeat this, Bell did not win the contract. When Lockheed went back to the government, now the government accounting office is going to be the guys and gals who are going to make the decision in April about whether the ink is going to be dried for Bell or for Lockheed, Sikorsky, Boeing. My feeling again is once you see this, you're going to say, wow, Daryl is right. I am right. I hope I'm wrong, but I think I'm right. I've got over 40 plus years in quality in manufacturing, both in aerospace, in medical implants, medical materials, printing, and plastic distribution, where we dealt with just about every industry under the sun. My background, educational-wise, I have a BS degree in management. I have 5 technical diplomas ranging in composites, plastics, boron, graphite, Kevlar, metal matrix composites, hybrid composites, nanotechnologies, fastening systems, both metallic and also adhesive, also resin systems, and different grades. You have IBM, EBM, and your extrusion blow molded, injection blow molded, and also resin transfer molded, and so many other items that we bring to the table. But let's get back to this. This again is very important that in 2013, collaboration of Lockheed and Bell concerning the V280 Valor may have caused cybersecurity issues, thus losing not only the Valor, V280 Valor, to China, but also the Defiant SB1 by Sikorsky, Lockheed, and Boeing. Lockheed, I would say, would be the perpetrator of their cybersecurity intrusion due to past practice, and we will show you. You have ANSI, the American National Standards Institute, is a private, not-for-profit, non-governmental corporation that's been around for 100 plus years. They have both federal agencies and corporations on board, trying to make themselves Teflon. Their mission statement and also their mantra is half a nut, fuck you. told to me in an audio file left on my cell phone by a Russ Cheney, who was the chairman at the time, who said that on the phone because I did a little bit of expose on A2LA, which is an accreditation body for laboratory. And I sat on ANSI's board. A woman who worked at A2LA stated no underneath my video. No, ANSI and A2LA are two separate entities unto themselves. I proved her wrong. Russ Cheney called. He's the chairman. And he said, half a nut, fuck you. Okay, that's the bottom line. 2022, I applied for director at large, figuring that I could change that and also become a representative of the small mom and pop shops for those big OEMs in ANSI, because they do not have anybody that sits on their board or sits on their membership that are small mom and pop shops, which could really assist in communication and better product and better quality. Well, guess what? They had a nine-question questionnaire that they sent along with their package. First, you had the first page that was written by Joe Bathia, signed off, and it was welcoming those candidates to director at large. I put a 54-page document in, 16 letters of recommendation from customers, and at the bottom of those questions, and those questions were about what we can do to foster, to facilitate ANSI's initiatives, not the half a nut fuck you, like the rest of the membership approve. Like Lockheed Martin, who sits there with Jim Tassett. I guess he approves it. You have David Calhoun from Boeing. He sits on there. Poof, his members sit on there. You have Microsoft with, I think it's Alison Morosco. I guess Microsoft approves it. You have all these corporations on board and federal agencies. Alexander Maraikas, he must approve it. Mr. Budacek, Department of Transportation, he sits on, his organization sits on there, must approve, must do the half a nut fuck you deal. And I do that because I think it's very unprofessional. When you have such corporations like Lockheed and Boeing basically approving that because they sit on that organization. And then when we answer those 9 questions, business owners, my fellow citizens, my prospective customers, at the bottom of the questionnaire, it's a congratulations for giving us more data for our decision about you becoming a director at large. Sincerely, Chairman Russ Cheney of the nomination committee. Do you think he was going to pick me? Let's continue, because this is ANSI ANAB's mission statement, because they took over ANAB 100%, so ANAB's part of this. So anyone who maintains a certificate from a registrar accredited by ANAB, that's what your quality is. Yes, and they said it. They said it, not me. Russ Cheney did. So let's continue on. You know about ANSI being a private not-for-profit corporation, non-federal agency. Well, here it goes. Randy Doherty, 2015, handed over leadership to this Communist Chinese national Zhao Jinwu. Randy was the vice president of ANAB, chairman of the IF, and also the principal in the IF tax form. IF is incorporated in Delaware. Zhao Jinwu was also at the time the chief executive of the China National Accreditation Services in Beijing, China. In 2017, he was seen in Wuhan, China, issuing an ISO 17025 certification for laboratory. A Miss Pamela Sale, and he did that. He issued that certificate in the bio level 4 laboratory in Wuhan, China, that most likely than not let the virus loose, as many specialists and many people have stated that that's where it originated and that's where it let loose. Well, Pamela Sale conferred that and confessed to that, and the fact that she said, and she was the vice president of ANAB, not vice president of ANAB, but she was the vice president of accreditation for laboratory accreditation. She stated under deposition that from one laboratory to another, there are variances. Okay, there is no protocols. They pick what they want. Zhao Jinwu is also mandated by his country of origin, Communist China, to take your data through the China National Intelligence Law, Article number 7. You have ANSI and ANAB. ANSI took over complete control over ANAB in 2018, and you have federal agencies and corporations. On top of this, business owners, I don't know how much I can... There. Wake up. So anyway... In 2017, Randy Doherty, he was a technical advisor of ANAB, yet, let me just say this, ANSI ANAB actually, he was also the principal on the IF tax report in 2017. He was being advertised as the vice president of ANAB on the Department of Homeland Security. Why? Because it's easy. Because Department of Homeland Security sits on ANSI. Okay, they sat on ANSI, and a Phil Masterson of the Department of Homeland Security sat on ANSI getting $262,000, a royalty payment, which basically means, the IRS has no designation whether you get taxed in it or not, as at that time. And he was also getting his federal salary. All right, so you have a private concern, ANSI ANAB, sitting on the DHS. And that is absolutely improper. I did a video, they took him down. Okay, and now we're going to continue on. And think about this. Cybersecurity issues. He's known this guy since 1994, or at least, yeah, I would say he does know him since 1994. Randy's been in that arena for a long time. And Zhao Jinwu is mandated to take your data through the China National Intelligence Law, Article number 7. And not one federal agency on ANSI's board has been absolved from getting their data taken from China. They got their data taken. The DHS, FBI, FTC, you name it, you name the federal agency that's on there, they got their data taken. You have Lockheed Martin that sits on ANSI's board. 2009, they got hacked by China, taking the F-35. If you don't believe it, here's the article that was in the Washington Post. Yes, that was in the Washington Post. I will gladly send this to you, talking about how the F-35 got their, how Lockheed got their data taken. On top of that, 2009, they got hacked by China, taking their F-35. 2012, a division of United Technologies got their data taken, Sikorsky aircraft. Okay, in 2015, Lockheed Martin goes to buy Sikorsky after the technology has been taken from both organizations, and they offered to pay maximum amount of money for this organization. $9 billion from what all reports state, varying between $7.5 to $9 million, $9 billion, excuse me. And in the Connecticut Mirror, a newspaper, it stated that with China's okay, Lockheed Martin closes in on the purchase of Sikorsky aircraft. In that article, it mentions the four, I don't even know if I could call them politicians or whatever they are, the four lackeys, in the sense that they complimented Lockheed Martin for working with an international regular communist China. Conversely, you have the FBI with Christopher Wray, who gave a deposition on November 15, 2022 this year, who stated again that China, while he was beating on his Chinese manufactured drum, he said that we must maintain vigilance. TikTok and China, and TikTok is in China. We must maintain vigilance because China is a detriment to all of American society. And there's Christopher Wray saying that, and our four politicians here in Connecticut, we have a definition and quality for this whole interplay between Christopher Wray saying, stay vigilant with China, and the four politicians in Connecticut praising Lockheed for working with communist China. Schmucks. Continuing on, people want to know, Daryl, you mean to tell me they took this data? I say, yes, they did. So I made a placard for you, ladies and gentlemen, both for the Sikorsky, now Lockheed Sikorsky, and also Lockheed itself. You have the F-35, you have the J-31 copycat, you have the UH-60A, 60M, 60, whatever the heck it is, and then you have the China Z-20. A sad part is this, too, that Lockheed sat between 2015 2021 on the IAF, which was controlled by Communist China between those years. They're also an associate member that can vote on policy. Who sits by them but Iran and Pakistan, who are equivalent in accreditation to ANAB? I've said that many times before, and you can find the data down below this video. The sad part about this mess is that you have... and I don't say the people of Iran, I don't say Iran, and I don't say the people of Pakistan, but look, The politicians are saying destroy the United States, and we actually assisted the terrorists of 9/11 to kill Americans. Isn't that nice? And Lockheed Martin sits there. And as an associate member, they can vote on policy. It looks like they failed like that, just like their quality. We also have Boeing that got hacked. Boeing. So what we're saying here is this. Lockheed Martin has an inherent issue with cybersecurity issues since 2009. They came on board with Bell in 2013 to work on the Valor V280. Okay, I guess somebody's mentioned in their ear, possibly, we don't know the little idiosyncrasies that went on, what have you, but they were going to purchase Sikorsky aircraft just a mere 2 years later. Well, they dropped Bell, like I guess a hot potato, and jumped on and bought Sikorsky in 2015. And the damage had already been done to Bell. There is going to be a video down below showing you at a Chinese aerospace exhibition. Most recently, they unveiled an airship that looks just like the Sikorsky or the Lockheed Sikorsky, Boeing Define SB1, and also the V280 Valor from Bell. They unveiled that. I will have that down below in the description. It's absolutely deplorable, and here it is. You have the Defiant, made by Lockheed Sikorsky, or Sikorsky Lockheed, whichever you want to call it, and Boeing. And then you have the Valor, the V280 Valor. Bell did not win the contract. That's a fallacy. The contract is being held up because Lockheed, Sikorsky, and Boeing went back to the government and squawked about it. They felt the contract was not done properly. So the Government Accounting Office is going to be making the final decision of who wins this contract in April. And the problem, too, is that the Department of Defense sits on ANSI, right over by Lockheed Sikorsky and right over by Boeing. So you tell me who's going to win this. I'll tell you right now. With the cybersecurity issues that Lockheed showed in the past, in 2009, with possible cybersecurity issues they then incurred in 2013, trading data between Bell and Lockheed, and I'm sure they did. They will probably deny it. These two aircraft that you will see in the exposition in China look exactly identical. Some of you will say, that's not possible. It's not going to be good. That's a fake. It's a fraud. You know something, business owners and my fellow citizens. When you see that they've already taken the Black Hawk and the F-35, you have to just scratch your head and say, you know something? That guy Guberman is correct. I am correct. Without a doubt, I predict that Bell will lose this contract. There's too many things, too many negatives going against Bell. Bell is David against Goliath. And it's unbelievable. My telephone number is 203-556-1493 or Daryl, TQRS @yahoo.com. I look forward to hearing from you, and I thank you.